My name is Tanner Ams, and I'm the youth minister at St. Margaret's Episcopal Church in San Antonio, Texas. Welcome to week 3 of our series, Love Thy Neighbor, for the youth group at St. Margaret's Episcopal Church. This week we're going to be talking about the story of the Good Samaritan, which is found in Luke chapter 10, verses 30 through 37. The story of the Good Samaritan gives us an example of what we talked about last week. The question had been asked, "Who is my neighbor?" And Jesus answers with this story. He knew that those listening would try to find a way to not show love to people who they didn't deem as worthy. Would be people that they didn't like, or maybe that they disagreed with. So he gives, in this moment, an extreme example. Jews and Samaritans did not get along at all. Jews, when traveling, would go out of their way to travel around Samaria rather than going through it. We see just how unusual this interaction is in the story of the woman at the well, where Jesus sits down and talks with a woman, a Samaritan woman. She is shocked that Jesus would even speak to her. Not only was she a Samaritan, but also a woman. That's a story for a different day, though. So Jesus tells this story, or parable, to the crowd of a man who was robbed, beaten, and then left for dead on the side of the road. Two people come by who the hearer would expect to help in some way, a priest and a Levite. Both of these men were considered righteous people. However, neither of them stopped to help. Instead, they skirted to the side of the road. Not only did they not stop, but they actually avoided this person. A Samaritan, however, saw him and was moved with pity to help him. He cared for the man, put him on his own animal, and then paid for the man to stay at an inn while he recovered. In this moment, we have to ask ourselves, who acted like a neighbor to this man? Jesus poses that question to the crowd, and the man reluctantly answers, the one who showed him mercy, not even saying it was the Samaritan. Jesus then instructed him to go and do likewise. Jesus made the example of this story someone that the Jews of that time would look down upon. He was the one whose example this teacher of the law was supposed to follow, not the priest or the Levite. Jesus didn't give this story to humiliate the teacher, but rather to subvert expectations that the question set up. You see, this question tries to find a loophole in love your neighbor. Jesus says, no, you don't get to love the people who you choose, but show mercy like the Samaritan who cared for someone who probably wouldn't have treated him well in the same circumstance. Likewise, we saw last week, we don't get to choose who you show love to. It isn't just the people that deserve our love or who love us. That's incredibly simple, to just love people who love you. Jesus changes that, as we will see next week. I hope you join me. So here's a question for this week. Who to us would be like a Samaritan? Who in our lives should we show love to that we may not want to? Who are people that we may look down on but are deeply in need of us showing them the love that God also showed us? Something to think about. Have a great week.